Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I hope I am audible now. And the screen is visible also, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Okay. Karma Yoga, the yoga of action. Yes. So in this chapter, the Lord explains how Karma Yoga is superior to Karma Sannyasa. So we all have heard Sannyasa, and we think that is the ultimate perfection. Generally, that is what people think. They say, so now I don't want to become serious. I don't want to get serious in spiritual life. This is not the time for me. So now I have so many duties. I have so many activities. One day I will do that. I will become very serious. And generally, the understanding in the society is also like that. Becoming serious means something like giving up all our activities in whatever we are doing now, and then going to somewhere far away place, Himalayas or into the jungles. That's what even I had an idea. Spiritual life means we see the sages, they are having big hairs, and then they're sitting meditating, sitting straight. So that's what generally the understanding, the concept of spiritual life is. So we have to go somewhere. We have to go to some Himalayas, or we have to go to some jungle, and then we have to meditate. We have to take up sannyasa. So basically, give up all the present our duties here and go for serious practice. So that's how we think. So, but Krishna in this chapter says karma yoga is better than karma sannyasa. Karma yoga and karma sannyasa, yes, it is also good. But Krishna is telling to Arjuna, you are a kshatriya, you are a warrior, and there is no need for everyone to take up that path. There is a methodology, there is a way to do everything. So Vedic system is a very scientific division, Varnashrama Dharma, so wherein there are 4 Varnas and 4 Ashramas. So tomorrow we hear more about that. So there is Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. Then there is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Of course, not by birth, but by one's guna, by one's qualities, and by one's actions. So everybody has a prescribed duty, has a particular duty. So for Arjuna, Krishna is saying Karma Yoga. So Krishna is Arjuna is a warrior, is a Kshatriya administrator, and is a family man. So Arjuna is proposing, Krishna, you told in the 2nd chapter that to achieve spiritual knowledge, to achieve transcendental knowledge, that I am not this body, I am spirit soul. If that is the goal of my life, why I am unnecessarily engaging myself in duties concerning with this body? Krishna also said, Karma Yoga is in the 2nd chapter. Krishna talked about how even working with the senses, working with this body, somebody can be in a transcendental state. So Krishna said that karmanyeva adhikarati ma phaleshu kadachana mate sangosu akarmani ma karma phala heturbur mate sangosu akarmani. So Krishna in the 2nd chapter talks about both the things. He talks about cultivating knowledge, the gnana, and also doing one's prescribed duties as a way to achieve perfection. And he said, I gave an example of a tortoise. We didn't discuss all those much yesterday. We said as if bhakti yoga one does, it includes all the other systems. includes other systems of Karma Yoga, Gnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga. So Krishna, second chapter, gave a brief understanding of everything. So Arjuna wants to get a proper understanding, clear understanding, and more so, he is himself still not ready. In the very first chapter, he was lamenting. He was saying so many objections. I cannot fight. It's not a gentleman activity to fight. So still he is having the same inhibition to immediately begin to execute his duty as a warrior. So he's trying to give an excuse. So Krishna, anyway, you said the perfection of life is to understand I'm not the body, I'm spirit. So let me exclusively engage myself in such cultivation of knowledge, such practices to achieve that realization. So that is Arjuna's proposal. So he says to Krishna, you seem to say two different paths. One is stop all activity, and exclusively try to get the knowledge by karma sannyasa. That is one is proposition. Another, Arjuna was told about karma yoga, wherever somebody is, do one's activity, but dedicate the result for the Lord. Don't become attached to the result. Don't become the owner. Understand our real position. So that is karma yoga. Karma yoga is where by the activity we connect ourselves with the Lord. So yoga. Yoga means is a connection with the Lord. Karma yoga is by our actions, by our various duties. How we connect with the Lord, how we make it easily possible for us to gain more and more attachment with the Lord. That is karma yoga. And when it is predominantly acting, going on by gnana, that is called gnana yoga. By cultivation of knowledge, one understands things as they are, one gets the realization. That is how one progresses in spiritual life by gnana yoga. And dhyana yoga is by meditation, when one has a basic understanding that I am not this body, and to achieve this realization, one undertakes some austerities by meditation, prescribed meditation, of course. That is called dhyana yoga. Then finally, we have this bhakti yoga, where with the method of surrender to the Lord, we connect ourselves to Krishna. So basically, bhakti yoga, everything is a part of bhakti yoga if we actually see. Anyway, here Arjuna's question is, Ekam Vada, Krishna, tell me one thing what I have to do, either karma yoga or karma sannyasa. Should I give up the activity or I should do the activity? Krishna, Arjuna basically doesn't want to still fight the war. That is the reason. So this is what is Krishna's recommendation about achieving self-realization, understanding of the soul. From second chapter, 11th to 30th verse. Exhaustive understanding of how we are not this body. We are different from the body. We are the living entity present within this body. So that is the method of Gnana Yoga or the Karma Sannyasa. Krishna talked about to achieve this spiritual knowledge. And then Krishna talked about in the verses 38 to 53 about Karma Yoga, actual Karma Yoga. The Lord said, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate. Salpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Krishna talked about the practice of Karma Yoga, where dovetailing our activities for the pleasure of the Lord. So doing our activities, doing our prescribed duties, but connecting with the Lord. So that is the description 30 to 53rd verse of the second chapter. So but Arjuna is asking, okay, tell me one, what I have to do. Then the Lord says, yes, Arjuna, in our present state, we cannot stop activities. Even though suppose I have stopped my activities outside, and I go to some Himalayas, I go to some deep forest, but still with the same my crazy mind which I am carrying with me. This is my constant associate. So in this body that I have got, I have my mind through the which I am using this body. The same crazy mind, the crazy thoughts, crazy ideas, what I am made of, it carries me. And even though I made outside stop my activities and I am trying to meditate, trying to achieve self-realization, still my senses, the mind is still active. So we see the instance of Vishwamitra Muni. He was actually in deep meditation. But what happened? Menaka, she came and she was able to again induce him for sensual enjoyment. So these senses are not so easy to control. So if you said without proper purification, without sufficient advancement, one cannot take up these practices. It is our previous time, not over the present day. We are in Kali Yuga, we are bombarded with sense objects. So better way is where we are to engage our senses positively. So here Krishna is telling very important thing. Karmendriyani samyamya. So one may give up doing activity. No, I don't want to do an activity which will entangle me, because for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So I do some activity, it may be a punya, a pious activity, I will get a pious reaction, very good reaction. Or if it is some papa, some sinful activity, I will get a reverse reaction. So this is how our life is going on. Our reactions, our happiness, distress in this life, and even life after life. I get my next body depending on my activities in the present body. I have my present body depending on my activities in the previous body. So the actions and reactions are continuing. So this method of karma yoga, gnana yoga, whatever, is there to stop this cycle of this karmic reaction. It is good, has to stop. So somebody may say, let me not do action. Finish. There is no reaction. No, Krishna is telling, even though you might have stopped outside, inside you have this mind, the same crazy mind. Continue to think of the sense objects, and it's only a question of time. What happens inside in the mind, it will come out one day and to do the action. Thinking, feeling, and willing. That's how our psychological processes go one after the other, and then acting. So we saw yesterday. Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsan, Sangas Deshopajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodho Vijayate. Krishna gave analysis of how we start thinking about a sense object, a sense desire. Then as we associate, as we attach ourselves, we feel intensely in want of that sense object. Then it goes to lust, it goes to the anger, it goes to delusion, it goes to loss of memory, it goes to loss of intelligence, and a fall down. So Krishna says here, yes, you may do that outside. You may go to the forest, Arjuna, and you may start meditating. But yaste manasas marat. But still in your mind, if you still have those sense desires, indriyarthan vimudatma, the person is called vimudatma. Vimudatma means certainly is foolish, is deluded. Mityachara sauchyate. Mityachara means a pretender, hypocrite. I pose myself to be something, but actually I'm something else. So nobody likes hypocrisy. So we have to be transparent to whatever our activity, our position. So Krishna is saying, just like we see sometimes in this age particularly, because previous ages people were really great souls, great sages, but Kali Yuga, the influence, various ways. We see people posing themselves as a renunciant, but attached to so many abominable things. So somebody is addicted to smoking, somebody is addicted to drinking, somebody is addicted to womanizing. So all these things, if somebody is addicted to this, there is a way of Vedic regulation. One leads a life of grasta. So there is a way how everybody, whatever material desires one has, in these various stations of life, he lives naturally, normally. So Krishna is telling, so we should not become like a hypocrite, posing himself as an advanced spiritualist, as a great soul, but then still attached to simple vices like this. So Krishna is telling, don't do that, Arjuna. It is a person who is cheating himself, is cheating the society. Finally, I am cheating myself. So it is not that somebody else is getting this one, but myself, finally, I am cheating myself. So that is what Mityachari. Mityachari means a pretender, a hypocrite. So that's why Krishna says, better than this is somebody who engages himself in action and connects it with the law. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, is by far superior. Because idle mind is devil's workshop. If we don't have any particular engagement for the mind, any engagement, good engagement for the mind, it will start thinking of some bad things. That's how this mind is. So karma yoga is a way of engaging the mind positively, properly, and then slowly, as we advance, we get the control over our mind, control over senses. We get to the purified existence. So that's how we are destroying. This is karma yoga. What you see is previous thing is something like somebody still is renounced, but still not attached, to so many sense objects. This is also one story of Bharat Maharaj. Of course, it is not that Bharat Maharaj had some kind of a slip. He was in a very advanced situation. Bharat Maharaj, he had given up his connection with the kingdom, his family, his wife. He had gone for the forest for serious spiritual life. But then, at one point of time, he gets attached to a small deer and he forgets his spiritual activities. So Then of course his pastime happens wherein he has to take a next birth, and because of his attachment to the deer, he's born as a deer, and then again he comes back into the human form and achieves the perfection. So that's a long story cut short. We will discuss about this in the later sections. So this is not to be done. Somebody is in that path. Somebody is should sincerely stick to those particular dharma. So in this way, here it is shown the example of previously kings used to be there. This is the king by name Prataparudra. He was the king of Orissa during the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, about 500 years back. 500 years back, huge Mughal empire. So and during those times, still some provinces were under kings like this, and he was a huge big king. But whenever the Rath Yatra is there, the Jagannath Puri, it's a yearly festival, annual festival. The king himself, as a servant, as a sweeper, he will take a golden broom and he cleans the whole street. As the Lord passes, as he comes in the front is this king himself brooming the streets as a sweeper. So it means he may be a king in the society, he may be a very big man, but in front of the Lord, we are all very, very tiny living entities. So we all take it as a mercy of the Lord to serve the Lord. So the king himself was doing this duties like this. So like this, we have our senses, our body, our mind, our hands, our legs. So we use all these senses to serve the Lord. Not that, okay, I will not see, my eyes are getting attracted to so many sense objects, so let me close my eyes. Or, okay, let me not hear something, I'm getting astray. Or tongue. No. The method of Bhakti Yoga is to positively engage the eyes in seeing the beautiful forms of the Lord, wonderful decorated forms of the Lord. Hear nicely the subject matter regarding the Lord's activities, or hearing the music connected to the Lord, the chanting of the Lord's names, and taste the Krishna Prasadam, what is offered to the Lord. So there is no way of giving up the sensual activity. Engage them, give them a better engagement to realize the Supreme Law. So this is a better way of control the senses, better way of practice. So Arjuna is being recommended by Krishna to do that in this chapter. So then Krishna gives us the understanding of sacrifice, yagna. So we all have heard yagna. So generally yagna means we feel it's some kind of a fire sacrifice. We put a fire and people are putting so many things into that, some grain, some ghee, and somebody is chanting mantras. Yes, that is one kind of yagna, of course. But yagna basically means yagna by Vishnu. Yagna is by itself one name of Vishnu. Vishnu is called Yagna, Yagnapati, Yagneshwara. So Yagna basically is an activity to please the Lord. It's a please the Lord. So it can be that Yagna, the Agnihotra sacrifices, or it can be the simple chanting of the Lord's names, which is called Japa Yagna. And the same chanting of the Lord's names, when it happens in Mass, it is called Sankirtana Yagna. So Yagna is basically any activity to please the Lord. So there are varieties of Yagna sacrifices. Gnana Yagna, Swadhyaya Yagna. So fourth chapter, next chapter, we'll hear about different kinds of yagnas. So anyway, so the principle of yagna Krishna is explaining. So work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Why? Because Vishnu is a source for everybody, is a cause for everybody. Suppose you are working in a company. So if you don't satisfy the boss there, so how you can expect to be continue to be in that company? Why they have to pay you? So you understand that finally the boss, the person is controlling, the CEO is maintaining, managing everything. So you do something that will finally that will with the plan what he has made, it integrates to it. So similarly, every one of us in this world, we are all part and parcel of the Lord, and we are all supposed to be completely in harmony with the plan of the Lord. So this yagna is a process by which we reciprocate our gratitude. We are deriving so many things from the Lord already. We got this body. This is a gift by the Lord. This is a gift by the nature. And nature is energy. And we need so much air, water, food, which is all in the nature. Who is given all these things? It is not just dropped from there from the sky. No, there is a controller, there is a cause. Janma Desya Ataha. Vedic scriptures say the Lord has designed us a beautiful system of yagna, wherein we acknowledge the mercy, we acknowledge what we receive from the Lord, and we express our gratitude. So there is a system of yagna wherein the yagna of fire sacrifice, that is one thing, but we will go for that. But Krishna is giving the principle of whatever you do, work, it should be performed as a activity to please the Lord. Then otherwise, work will bind us to this material. Either it may be punya karma or papa karma. So this is a very, very important statement being said, that our activity should be how it is connected to the Lord. So whatever we may do, it doesn't matter. But how we can find a connection with the Lord, how we may be pleased with this activity. So that we have to learn that art. The art of doing work we have to learn. So here next the Lord explains how there are the universal controllers, just like we have in our city, in our country, various ministries, Ministry of Home, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry for Health, Ministry for Electricity, Ministry for Waterworks, so many departments just to manage one small town, and then or the city or the country. We have all these things, ministries, secretaries, so many of them. So without their proper management, how things will run? Similarly, Krishna is giving us understanding. There is this whole cosmic administration, cosmic management. Under his control, there are the various devatas. Devata. So Krishna, the Supreme Lord is one. God is one. It cannot be two. But under the Supreme Lord, some of them are given this vested, this powers, special powers to administer the affairs of this universe. There is somebody in charge of lighting the universe, the Surya Dev. Somebody is in charge of waterworks, that is Varuna. Somebody is in charge of the rains, Indra. Somebody is in charge of with the air, which is most important for us even to live. If we don't have air, we'll be suffocated, we'll die. There's Vayu Dev. So there are these devatas, the controllers, who are all the different agents. And just like in the state, we have a system of paying tax. Okay, I'm deriving this electricity, I have all this facility, I have to pay tax to the electricity department. I'm getting this internet connection. There is this a particular department, either government department or government authorized department, the private operators. So I have to pay them something. If I say no, I'm coming from the skies, everything has to come free to me. Everybody supply me everything, whatever I need, as if I'm the owner, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the proprietor. If I live like that, is it a gentleman's life? Is it not a criminal activity? So Krishna is giving us this understanding, the understanding of sacrifice. How by this the various devatas are pleased by this. So there is a yagna bhaga, the shareholders. They are all shareholders. Wherein when we do a yagna, they are all getting some kind of a nourishment for them, some kind of a tax being paid, and an expression of gratitude towards them. Ultimately, it's an expression of gratitude for the Supreme Lord Vishnu, because they are all working under him. So one statement says, yeah, whatever, okay. So this is how the system of yagna, Krishna is explaining the importance of devatas in this part of the section of the Bhagavad Gita. And finally, he is the Supreme Beneficiary. So, Anna Bhavanti Bhutani. So the Lord says, Anna. Anna means food. We need food. Everybody needs food. All the living entities need food in this universe. So by this, all the living entities are living by Anna, by grains. By grains, there is subsistence of all living entities. Anna Bhavanti Bhutani. Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha. How this Anna comes, how these grains come. Parjanya. Parjanya means rains. So it is not that we have our plants, we can do now anything, we are advanced in science, we'll convert the desert into a oasis. There are some portions like that. Desert into some wonderful fertile lands. No, we cannot play with nature so much like that, though we may know. So there is a way administered in the universe, the laws of nature. So how we need rains. Only when we get rains, sufficient rains, then only we can have big borewell, this, that, whatever. Otherwise, what we can do? So the rains are important. From the rains, we get the grains. Anna Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha. How rains come? So that we know, everybody knows we need rains. But how rains come? The rains come, it is said here, Yagna Bhavati Parjanyo. Yagna, the same yagna, the principle of yagna, the activity that will bring about rain is yagna. Yagna Bhavati Parjanyo. And what is this yagna? Yagna Karma Samudbhavaha. Krishna says here, yagna is, we may do that yagna, that homa, but also yagna is something, our prescribed duties, Yagna, karma, karma, the work what we are doing. When everybody has to work in this world, nobody is like a honored son-in-law wherein everything will be given free. No, everybody has to work. Yagnat karma samudva. On karma, how to know what is my karma, what is my duty? Who will tell me what is it? I may say my duty is to kill animals and kasai. Kasai is also, you may say it is his duty. So everybody may say I am doing this murdering people. That is my duty. That is how I lead my life. I rob people and I live. I cheat people and I live. That is my duty. No. So this karma, where we get this karma? Karma, brahmodbhavam vidhi. Like what karma one has to do is given in the Vedic scriptures. So what duties one has to perform, what duties one should not perform, what actions one should perform, what actions one should not perform, that is all in the Vedic scriptures. So that is karma, brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahma, so it says like that. Finally, it comes back to akshara samudbhavam. Akshara means the Lord, all pervasive, unmanifested for us now. The akshara, the person is beyond these modes. So from the Lord this comes. So finally, the Lord is the giver of the directions, working directions. He is the giver of the dharma in the form of these Vedic books, Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge, we come to know what is our prescribed duties, what to be done, what not to be done, what is pious activity, what is impious activity, action, inaction, and forbidden action. We come to know karma, vikarma, akarma, all the things. Karma means prescribed action, prescribed activities. Vikarma means forbidden activity which should not be done. And akarma means activity which will not have any reaction. You do that activity, but I know positive, no negative. It's an activity to please the Lord. It is a liberating activity wherein your destination will be no more bodies in this material world. You go back to spiritual world. You revive your spiritual existence. You revive your spiritual body in the spiritual forms associated with the Supreme Personality. So Krishna gives us this understanding of karma, vikarma, karma, given in the Vedic books of knowledge. Vedas means basically books of knowledge, nothing else. So every book of knowledge can be called a Veda in that sense. But originally that Veda is given by Supreme Lord himself. So there is a cycle. So Krishna gives the cycle. From the Lord comes the Vedas. From the Vedas, we get to know what is our prescribed duties, karma. And from the karmas, where they are actually yagnas are performed, that itself becomes a yagna, the proper prescribed duties. Under the prescribed duties, we get the rains. Under the order of the Lord and the Devatas working under him, we get the rains. And with the proper rains, we get the grains, the required food grains. And with the grains, we can prepare wonderful foodstuffs, and the foodstuffs which nourish us, the living entities. With the food also, we should again offer back to the Lord. So that is what Krishna is talking about. Yagna shishta shina santa muchyante sarva kilvishay bunjate tu agam papa ye pachanti atma karana. That is the 13th verse. Krishna says, then you prepare the food, you offer to the Lord. So either by that physical, that fire sacrifice. The fire sacrifice, it's also a method wherein we are taking all those foodstuffs, the grains, the ghee and all, and then we are putting it in the fire, because fire is something you put, everything will be consumed. It is said God eats through fire. So that is how the method of fire sacrifice. By the appropriate chanting of those mantras, by the purified brahmanas, and offering to the Lord is actually taking. It is said to be the tongue of the Lord, like that. Many times, Vedic scriptures explain, because we want to see things consumed. Okay, like I'm offering to the Lord whether the Lord is eating. Yes, after all, fire is also his energy, the 5 material elements. So you can see that everything is being consumed, everything being taken. So that is how the physical yagna is there, the fire sacrifice is there. In the path of devotion, we don't have to do that. We prepare food items and we offer to the Lord. And the 9th chapter, Krishna says, I accept. Somebody gives me the offering with love. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadam ashnami paratam prayatatmanaha. So the method of bhakti, where we prepare food items derived from the Lord's mercy and then offer it first to the Lord. He is the, let him enjoy. He is the bhokta, he is the enjoyer. So that's how this method of offering the food items as a sacrifice, as a bhoga offering to the Lord. That is stressed here in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, Krishna says, anybody who prepares food for personal sense enjoyment verily eats only sin, because nothing belongs to us in this world. Nothing is ours in this world. Not even my own body is in the mind. I also belong to the Lord. My body also belongs to the Lord. So everything in this cosmic manifestation belongs to the Lord. So I have to acknowledge this. I have to understand this. So this method is given slowly to awaken this understanding, awaken us to reality. So Krishna says this cycle of sacrifice. This cycle of sacrifice we saw here. Yes, it's an important concept Krishna explains in this part of the Bhagavad Gita. So what is the most important kind of yagna we have to do in this age? That is also given in scriptures. Because different kinds of yagnas are there. But what is the most practical, what is recommended for now, for this present time of quarrel and hypocrisy? Age of Kali means quarrel. For no reason, for something silly, we keep fighting. Husband and wife, sisters, brothers, they keep fighting. It's the nature. Material world means, Kali Yuga means fighting. So Kali means that Kali, predominance of quarrel, predominance of hypocrisy. I say something, I mean something, and I am something. So this is all, there's a lot of mismatch, the hypocrisy. So it is said, in this age, the prescribed method is Sankirtana Yagna. What is that? Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pagastra Parshidam Yagrai Sankirtana Praye Rejantihi Sumed Saha. Intelligent persons in the age of Kali will perform this congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, by which they please the Lord. That is the Yuga Dharma. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Krishna himself, who came down as a devotee of Krishna. So we will discuss it further on. So, and he, as per the recommendation of the scriptures for the Kali Yuga, he inaugurated this method of congregational chanting. So if many people get together, the Kirtana, the Bhajana, and then accompanied by musical instruments, accompanied by singing of the Lord's names, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This is the yagna to be done by one and all in this age of Kali. This is the prescribed method. We are not expected to do some fire sacrifice and put some grains and bring some ghee. It is very, very costly. Today it is, we hardly for our food we can use the ghee. Ghee is so costly now. Previously people used to have cows every house. So it was very cheaper. The method of living was different. But now where to get ghee with liters and liters? We cannot use oil for all this fire sacrifice. No. There is a method of doing. And where are the expert chanters of the mantras? You may say, okay, I will do. Krishna is talking about yagna in the 3rd chapter. I will try to do this. But where are those purified chanters? By their chanting mantras, the fire will come from the Havana Kunda. Such is their power, such is their purity. So who are the people who are there? Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha, Kali Yuga, we are all said to be 4th class people. So in this degraded, downgraded age, it is said the yagna we have to perform, everyone, is to chant the holy names of Krishna. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalo Naskeva Gatiranyatha. So this is the yagna that is recommended. Gita itself, in the 10th chapter, Krishna says, Yagnanam Japa Yagnosmi. So we all request all the devotees, so kindly accept this process of yagna for the present age. So we chant first of all the Panchatattva mantra, that is Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta. This is Lord Chaitanya along with his associates Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhara, Srivas. So this it is they who inaugurated this movement 500 years back. So we offer our respectful obeisances to them, and then we chant the Mahamantra as is given in the Vedic scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's a practice, standard practice, to chant once the Panchatattva mantra one time, and then after that Hare Krishna Mahamantra 108 times. So if you have a japa bead, that will help you to keep the, you don't have to keep the count. You can continue your chanting, focus yourself on chanting the Lord's name and hearing it, and then that is one sankalpa, one round of chanting. So like this, we chant every day. We make it a habit to remember the Lord. We acknowledge the gratitude. We express our gratitude for the Lord. We acknowledge the mercy of the Lord. So this is a practice of yagna which is recommended. Okay. So apart from our duties, we have to do this chanting of the Lord's names. The duties, prescribed duties, as given in the scriptures. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Yes, prescribed duties are there. Vedic scriptures give us somebody in somebody is doing the work of a teacher, somebody is doing the work of an administrator, somebody is doing the work of a businessman, somebody is doing the work of an agriculturist. So everybody, as per their guna and karma, as per their particular tendencies. So what is the most satisfying for a person in that particular way, they can contribute to society. So he does that work, but works in the method of detachment, offering the results to the law. यद्यदाचरति श्रेष्ठस्तत्तदेवेतरो जनः सयत् प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्तत् अनुवर्तते. Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you are a leader, you are a king. So what you follow, all the citizens will follow. If you run away from your duty at this point of time, at this point of what the huge war that is going to happen, people will think whenever big problem comes in life, forget everything, take sannyas, go to Himalayas, go to forest. No, as Krishna is saying, no, you have to be a role model, Arjuna. You have to show how a responsible person will behave. So what you do, all the common man will follow. So it's very important that particularly Srila Prabhupada tells, even before we teach, we have to practice. Achar, then comes prachar. Achar, then comes prachar. So first we have to practice. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to fruitful results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Somebody is a farmer, somebody is a businessman, somebody is a teacher, whatever somebody is doing. But how, during doing that work, he will connect himself to the law. He will understand his connection with the law, and he'll make advancement in his devotion to the law. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Actually, we are all bound, hands and legs tight. We think as if I'm independent, I can do anything. No, we are not independent. So we are held so tight, we are pulled by our ear, by the laws of nature, by the modes of nature. So we all have experienced, each one, some particular kind of addiction, some habits we have. It's very difficult to come out of that. We introspect ourselves, we see, oh, this is horrible. Why this is part of my personality? But very difficult to come out. So the material world, material nature is just like an infection which has held us. So somebody is infected with tuberculosis. He has the symptoms of tuberculosis. He cannot say, no, I'm a healthy person. I don't have. Just by saying, one will not be free from the disease. Somebody is having this particular infection, he has to display the symptoms of the disease. So something like that. Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna is a kind of infection for the spirit soul. As a pure spirit soul, we are not to be overtaken by this kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. All these sense gratificatory things should not be part of our personality. But now, no, we are all caught up, we are entrapped. So Krishna is telling, we sometimes say, I did it because of my activity, such a nice activity happened, such things, projects happened. No, I'm in a particular mode, I was used to do that. So we are working, being attached to these modes. Sometimes in the day we are in a mode of goodness, when we have some kind of a calmness, sobriety, we can think properly. Sometimes the desires become too much, we run after those, achieving those desires. That this one. So we will do so much effort, so much struggle for that. And sometimes the senses take over so much, I cannot even work towards any aims. I become mad. That's how we see so many addictions, the vices. So it is all helpless condition of the ourself, wherein we are completely taken over. The mind, the senses are bombarded. So Krishna says, no, prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. So we are all bound, hands and legs tied in this material world. Different degrees we are bound. Sattva-guna is like a little degree, Rajoguna is little more, Tamoguna is completely bound. Like you have the first class prison, second class prison, third class prison. So everybody in this world, you're caught up in this bodily conception of life forcefully. So that is what Krishna is saying. Understand how the Prakriti is working, how the material energy is working. So Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what one is impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So Kama, Krishna, Arjuna is telling, I know sometimes this is not to be done, this is these things, but still I'm forced to do. So why? What is the cause? How it is happening? Why it is like this? So Krishna says, Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapapmo vidyenam iha vairina. It is Kama. Kama is a lust. Lust means any excessive desire, material desire, that is called lust. It's not just the pure Kama, what generally referred to as the attraction, the sex attraction between male and female. Not only that, any pushing that is holding us, that can be called. But of course, this is the pinnacle of that. In material world, it is like the pinnacle, the most attractive force that binds every one of us in this world, the Kama, the sex desire. So originally, this Kama is what is called Prema. We say Prema, we say I love you, but actually this is not love. The actual word love, it can be only applied to relationship between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord Paramatma, Krishna. The Krishna and each one of us, we have this feeling of love that is called Prema. But now, what is being expressed in this word is a changeover, switchover of that into what is called Kama. Krishna Atmendriya Vanche Dharenam Kam Krishnendriya Dharenam Prem. Krishnendriya Priti Vancha Dharenam Prem Atmendriya Priti Vancha Dharenam Kam. So there's a verse which says, when we engage ourselves in pleasing the Lord, that is actually Prem, and that is what the natural feeling every Jiva has in its normal constitutional position. So that is the natural feeling every one of us have with the Lord. We want to please the Lord. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord. No question of exploiting. But in this world, when it is transformed, just like a milk becomes transformed into curd. Both are the same thing, milk only. But curd is not milk. The effect is different. Milk can work in a particular way. Curd will work in a different way on the health, on a particular movements of the body, so many things. So originally what is for us in the pure state of life, our feelings of affection for the Lord has been transformed into a kind of exploitation through this position of Kama. So now, again, how to revert back to this original position, turn the Kama back to Prema. That is the goal of life. That is the mission of life. So otherwise, we cannot stop desires. It is not that, okay, I will stop activities, I will take up sannyas, karma sannyasa. No, it is not so easy. It's not possible. It is not possible. Krishna explains how this Kama is covering each one of us in this world. And he says, it's your enemy, Krishna, Arjuna. Understand from me. This Kama, Krodha, this is in the mode of Rajoguna. Kama, Esha, Krodha, Esha. The Krishna introduced the concept of Satoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. The Prakriti's three modes of nature, how it operates. We have so many modes, safe mode, this mode, like that. Prakriti works in these three modes. So Krishna explains this concept further in the third section of the Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter onwards, very, very clearly. So we'll get a more understanding there. But just to understand how we are controlled by the laws of nature and we are ensnared here. And depending on our own activities, our responsible and irresponsible activities, we get entangled in these modes. So Krishna is explaining here how this Kama is covering our actual identity. So he gives a nice example here. Dhumena avriyate vagnir. Dhuma means smoke and Vagni means fire. So Krishna is telling, fire, when it's covered by smoke, we hardly see fire. We know there is fire there because how the smoke can come otherwise. But we cannot derive any much benefit from the smoke. We have to wait. Only when it again smoke goes away, all the disturbance. With the fire, we can do something. We can heat something. We can use the fire for so many nice uses. So fire is a real thing. But when it is covered by smoke, it is little effort. We can we can take out the smoke, and real thing, fire comes out. So Kama, when it is very little, that is in Sattva Guna, it is compared to smoke being covering the fire. Then when the kama becomes more, that example is given as if the mirror is covered by dust. So we have the mirror, we use the mirror, we stand in front of the mirror and we see whether we comb over ourselves, we see if my dress is in order, we see. Suppose it is all fully dusty, then what purpose it will serve? The mirror. Then we take a cloth and we try start cleaning the mirror first. Just by doing oof, 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 by blowing, we cannot, but smoke, you can, by blowing, you can remove it. But the mirror, the dust, you cannot do it just like that. You have to take a piece of cloth and you have to put some effort. So that's what it is showing here. When the kama is little more, Krishna says, that is in Rajoguna, and the living entity is as if like a mirror covered by dust. Mirror in its original position is something, but when it covered by dust, it is something else. So Krishna gives that example how we are covered with degrees of lust, degrees of kama. In a lighter degree, fire covered by smoke. A little more degree, the dust covering a mirror. And when it is intense, the lust, Krishna says, the living entity in the mother's womb, the fetus, we have the fetus, helpless condition, 9 months, if they cannot come out. If it say, no, I have to go, 7 months, it is said, Bhagavatam says, the child gets remembrance. It gets its consciousness. Till 7 months, it is like a slumber. It is completely not aware of its position at all. Just like I am sleeping, I do not know somebody is around me, somebody is hitting me, kicking me. I do not know. I am deeply far asleep, something like that. Till 7 months. At 7 months, when the child becomes aware, still he cannot come out. He has to wait. So it is said the kama is intense kama. The dust, the lust overtaking us. It's like the position of a fetus, the child within the mother's womb. So it's more helpless condition. So Krishna explains the degrees of covering of kama. The living entity from its pure prema can be covered into this different degrees of kama. So this very nice analogy. So we can remember how sometimes in our life we are in control of our mind. Sometimes the mind is going beyond our capacity. The mind dictates so many things. So it is going off, or sometimes it becomes completely outside our control. So we can see how this karma acts on us in different situations. Not only that, it is said, Krishna also with this example, is explaining to us that there are gradations of life. This particular way, wherein we see the life of a plant. It's almost a helpless living condition of a living entity. The plants, we see the plants, they're just standing there. You go and hit them, nothing they do. It is sometimes hot, sometimes cold. Nothing, no response, no reaction, as if nothing has happened. They also have life. They are also living entities. They are also jivas. But such a grade of lust, it is said kama, the Lord has given that body wherein they hardly come to know any pain, they have some pain, not that there is not pain, but almost like a unconscious state of life, a slumber, dreaming kind of state, wherein kama is too much. That is the plant life, like the embryo being covered by the womb. And then the understanding of the life of animals is compared to this mirror covered by dust. So animals are also, we see them running here, running there purposelessly. So their life, so their karma is also more like a mirror covered by dust. And human life is compared to fire covered by smoke. Because human life, whatever may be my condition, I may be now, I am not in control of myself, my senses, my desires, but still I can train myself. Every human being is capable of training himself. That is why it is compared to fire covered by smoke. Smoke may be there, too much smoke, but still we know we can do something and take out the smoke, and then there is a fire by which real benefit can be obtained. The real nature of the fire will come out. It's easier than a dust being taken out from mirror, thick dust. Sometimes when the things become so thick, it just doesn't come. Then we say you soak it in water or something like that. We'll see after some time, some stains, something like that. So Krishna is giving this example and making us understand, as human beings, we can definitely come over this lusty desires. So this was Arjuna's question. Helplessly, aniccham, even though I don't want to do it, as if by force, bala, and my mind is getting to a crazy situation, this lusty desires. So this my doing sinful activities, papa, I do some sinful activity. Why it happens is sinful activity? Krishna says this is due to karma. Yes, Dhununavate, Vahnir, fire covered by smoke, mirror covered by dust, and embryo covered by the womb. Fire covered by smoke, mirror covered by dust, and embryo covered by womb. So to understand the degrees of covering of the pure spirit soul, in the pure consciousness, we are naturally devotees of the Lord. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunai Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Karaye Udai. So our natural state, there is no question of our being not a devotee of the Lord. So we are devotees of the Lord in our natural state of being. So in our forgetfulness, in our ignorance, in the illusion, we have become devotees of so many things. I'm a devotee of my country. I'm a devotee of this devata. I'm a devotee of my community. I'm a devotee of my family. Always I'm a devotee of my own senses. My senses will demand you do like this, and I'm forced to do. But originally, I am a natural devotee of the Lord, Supreme Lord Krishna. Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. It's a very nice picture we see here. Some boys, some Gurukul boys. So when we went to Mayapur, you can see several places there are Gurukulas. So nice, from a very young age, they are given this spiritual impetus. Very easily they will become successful in their life. So that was how the Vedic culture used to be there. From very young age, they used to be trained spiritually. The brahmachari used to be trained in tapasya. That was how very young age they learn to control the senses, to control their mind. Doesn't matter, Srila Prabhupada says the Bhakti Yoga process is so powerful. So at whatever stage of life one may start, doesn't matter. He becomes serious, he takes the practice, one can achieve perfection. Otherwise, here Krishna says from the very beginning curve this great symbol. So these are different levels of consciousness, different levels of different platforms. So at a lowermost platform, when we think ourselves to be the bodily platform, so the bodily enjoyment is our all in all. That's when we engage ourselves in all these senses, the drinks, the smoking, all this, because completely in the bodily concept of life. A little higher, the person thinks, what is this crazy things? Let me work hard, let me achieve something. So let me achieve some positions, achieve some this one. So that is when he starts working, sensual platform, wherein not just doing this bodily enjoyments, he applies himself to doing something, engaging his bodily senses. So he comes to sensual platform. His senses are active. He's a busy person in the society. So we see some people very busy, very active. But then little more higher platform, wherein some read some books, get some knowledge, understanding, and then rises to mental platform. So he sees what is right, what is wrong, what is to be done, what is not to be done, or whether I'm acting properly. He starts analyzing mental platform. And then one, as he advances further, becomes very, very clear. Yes, this is to be done, this is not to be done. This is good, this is bad. This is prescribed duty, this is not. So he becomes very, very philosophical, understands things. That is when the person rises to intellectual platform. Then finally, it is shown here, the real, our position, natural position of every jiva, the spiritual platform, wherein having understood, having realized that I'm a spirit soul, naturally somebody becomes connected to the Lord in devotion, and that is the happy state of life. It's also called Anandamaya. Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya. That is a different koshas of the body. It is also explained like that. From different platforms, Manomaya, Dhanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, like the different platforms of life. Yes, we are ending the chapter. Indriyani parani aho, indrebhya param manaha, manasastu para buddhe, yo buddhe paratastu saha. So the working senses are superior to dull matter. So we know the body, the senses are more active when they are. The body is nothing but dull matter in that one sense. So working senses, what we have, hands, legs, through which work, it is higher. Mind is higher than the senses, because mind will say, oh, do this, do that. It will dictate, it will give order to the senses. Mind is higher. Much higher is actually the intelligence, because with right kind of intelligence, we can guide the mind. Mind becomes naturally attracted to something, repulsive to something. That is what the function of the mind is. Mind is a crazy thing. Because of previous experience, previous conditioning, it gives out an immediate response. But if you have proper intelligence, you can tell the mind, oh, you are a diabetic. You are not supposed to eat sweets like this. So the mind, even though it wants to eat after seeing a lot of nice gulab jamun, so many things, the senses are demanding. Mind is also saying, okay, let us enjoy. But intelligence will say, no, you are not supposed to do. It will direct the mind. So intelligence is above the mind. And Krishna is saying, above the mind, above the intelligence is the soul. Parasastu saha. So a very nice analogy. The scriptures explain, the Vedas explain. Just like somebody driving a chariot driver here with his the passenger and the reins of the horses, the ropes, then the horses themselves. So these horses are compared here to the. So anybody wants to say what are all this? What is this comparison being shown here? Any volunteers? They can raise their hand. What is this being shown? Okay, Rohan, you can unmute.
The horses represent senses.
Okay. So 5 senses. What are these 5 senses? Yeah. Some sense horse is representing the eye, ear. Yeah. Ear, the ears, nose, ear, the skin, and the tongue. Correct? The senses what we have. They are driving us for enjoyment to gratify them. Yes, Rohan. After that.
After that, the person is being controlled by the horses are being controlled by the mind, I guess.
Yes, yes. It is supposed to be the senses are controlled by mind. So what does the mind represent in this example?
That the mind is supposed to keep a check on all the senses.
What I'm telling, you're right in saying mind is supposed to control the senses. It is above the senses. But here horses referred to senses. So what is being referred as the mind here in this example?
I
So
guess
what is there behind the horse?
I guess the ropes.
Yes, thank you. Yes, you're right. So the ropes are what is holding this horses. So this ropes represent the mind. And then behind the ropes, what is there?
Behind ropes should be intelligence.
Yes, behind the mind should be intelligence. Yes, and who is representing the intelligence here?
The person.
Yes, this person we find here. This is a chariot driver. So he is representing the intelligence. And then there is somebody else also.
Then the passenger is the soul.
Yes, this actual passenger. So this is actually us. In the same figurative chariot of the body, I am the passenger, I am the soul. And I have this intelligence which is supposed to be my driver. And I have the ropes which is supposed to be my mind. I have my mind which is this. And then the horses here is our senses. So I am supposed to control them. The senses, the mind, and intelligence. I am supposed to give the orders. But now they seem to be acting independently. It's like the mind is telling something, the senses, every sense is telling something else. One horse wants to go here, left, and one horse wants to go right, one horse wants to fly, something like that. Our senses are bombarding us, and we are not able to control the mind, the intelligence. Actually, we are supposed to. It is easier. When I understand, realize that I am soul, and spirit soul, and it is natural for me to put brakes, to direct this intelligence, direct this mind. The whole path of spiritual life is to understand, to come to this knowledge that yes, I'm spirit soul, I'm actually above this mind, above this intelligence. So by the mercy of the Lord, we revive our knowledge, revive our understanding, revive our factual position. Yes, thank you, Rohan. This is a nice example, given how soul is above the mind, intelligence. Yes, that is what we are seeing here. The senses, the 5 horses. Then we saw the mind as the ropes, then the intelligence as the driver, soul behind. It's just like suppose you want to go to somewhere. Suppose you go outside your house, you stand, and there is you call auto. An auto person comes, and you say you go wherever you want. So what is it? This is the way. You should know where you are going. You should say, no, I want to go to Krishna temple. So then the driver will say, okay, I will go there. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, then okay, I just want to. So the auto driver will take you all around the city. Or maybe if you tell him also, if you don't know, if you're not aware properly, he will just keep spinning, and then he'll charge you some fees, which is 2 kilometers. He has taken you in about 20 kilometers. So you should know the goal. You should have that knowledge. It's important. So we are supposed, a passenger supposed to guide the auto driver to take to his destination. Similarly, spirit, soul. We understand our conscious position, then we get into control of our mind, intelligence, and the senses. Yes. Okay, that is this chapter. So we started off with Arjuna's seeking clarification, which is better, karma yoga is better or karma sannyasa is better. Give up action completely or do an action to please the Lord, which is better. That was Arjuna's question. Then Krishna clarified and explained to us how we cannot stop activity. We have to do some activity. So better do prescribed activities as given in the scriptures. So he taught us about yagna, the method of yagna chakra, and then how this is basically one kind of a principles taught in the Vedas, the codes, the directions given how one should lead a regulated life. That is the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. There are different sections of the Vedas: karma kanda, dhyana kanda, and upasana kanda. So slowly the Vedas raises from the lower level of consciousness to higher levels. So then Arjuna was told, lead by example. So you should do your prescribed duty properly. Then automatically everybody else, the subjects, will do. Then Krishna talked about karma as the greatest enemy in our conditioned life. So each one of us have this greatest. We say, "Oh, he is my enemy. He is my enemy." No, each one of us have this greatest enemy living with us. This crazy mind having this karma, the desire, this lusty desire, the desire independent of Krishna. We have a desire, the natural desire to please Krishna, that is prema, which is now become manifested as karma in this world. So again, how I convert this karma to prema. That is my natural condition. That is my position. Okay, thank you everybody. So I was telling I will show you the rest of the presentation. Yesterday we had a nice presentation about consciousness. I don't know today if I can do it. Otherwise, maybe I'll keep it at a later day, the next day, tomorrow or day after. Because there are some smaller chapters. 5th chapter is also very small. Maybe we'll complete. And there are a lot of presentations also, other presentations. So we'll see. There are 18 chapters. There are presentations which we can do later also. So any questions by devotees, they can raise their hands. Yes, Rohan, you have raised your hand. It was for answering that or any question you have now. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, I had a question.
Yes.
So, like you said, karma is the greatest enemy, but the karma result should